Those who believe they can move mountains do. Those who believe they can't, cannot. Belief triggers the power to do. Actually, in these modern times, belief is doing much bigger things than moving mountains. The most essential element, in fact, the essential element in our space explorations today is belief that space can be mastered. Without firm, unwavering belief that men can travel in space, our scientists would not have the courage, interest, and enthusiasm to proceed. Belief that cancer can be cured will ultimately produce cures for cancer. Belief in great results is the driving force, the power behind all great books, plays, scientific discoveries. Belief in success is behind every successful business, church, and political organization. Belief in success is the one basic, absolutely essential ingredient in successful people. Believe, really believe, you can succeed and you will. Over the years, I have talked with many people who have failed in business ventures and in various careers. I have heard a lot of reasons and excuses for failure. Something especially significant unfolds as conversations with failures develop. In a casual sort of way, the failure drops a remark like, "To tell the truth, I didn't think it would work," or "I had my misgivings before I even started out," or "Actually, I wasn't too surprised that it didn't work out." The the "okay, I will give it a try, but I don't think it will work" attitude produces failures. Disbelief is a negative power. When the mind disbelieves or doubts, the mind attracts reasons to support the disbelief. Think doubt and fail. Think victory and succeed. A young fiction writer talked with me recently about her writing ambitions. The name of one of the top writers in her field came up. "Oh," she said, "Mr. X is a wonderful writer, but of course, I can't be nearly as successful as he is." Her attitude disappointed me very much because I know the writer mentioned. He is not super intelligent, nor super perceptive, nor super anything else except super confident. He believes he is among the best, and so he acts and performs the best. It's well to respect the leader, learn from him, observe him, study him, but don't worship him. Believe you can surpass, believe you can go beyond. Those who harbor the second best attitude are invariably second best doors. Look at it this way: belief is the thermostat that regulates what we accomplish in life. Study the fellow who is shuffling down there in mediocrity. He believes he is worth little, so he receives little. He believes he can't do big things, and he doesn't. He believes he is unimportant, so everything he does has an unimportant mark. As time goes by, lack of belief in himself shows through in the way the fellow talks, walks, acts. Unless he readjusts his thermostat forward, he shrinks, grows smaller and smaller in his own estimation. And since others see in us what we see in ourselves, he grows smaller in the estimation of the people around him. Now look across the way at the person who is advancing forward. He believes he is worth much and he receives much. Everything he does, the way he handles himself with people, his character, his thoughts, his viewpoints, all say, here is a professional, he is an important person. A person is a product of his own thoughts. Believe big. Adjust your thermostat forward. Launch your success offensive with honest, sincere belief that you can succeed. Believe big and grow big. Several years ago, after addressing a group of businessmen in Detroit, I talked with one of the gentlemen who approached me, introduced himself, and said, "I really enjoyed your talk. Can you spare a few minutes? I would like very much to discuss a personal experience with you." In a few minutes, we were comfortably seated in a coffee shop, waiting for some refreshments. "I have a personal experience," he began. That ties in perfectly with what you said this evening about making your mind work for you instead of letting it work against you. I have never explained to anyone how I lifted myself from off the world of mediocrity, but I would like to tell you about it. And I would like to hear it, I said. Well, just 5 years ago, I was plodding along, just another guy working in the tool and die trade. I made a decent living by average standards, but it was far from ideal. Our home was much too small, and there was no money for those many things we wanted. My wife, bless her, didn't complain much, but it was written all over her that she was more resigned to her fate than she was happy. Inside, I grew more and more dissatisfied. When I, li- when I let myself see how I was failing my good wife and two children, I really hurt inside. But today things are really different, my friend continued. Today we have a beautiful new home on a 2-acre plot and a year-round cabin a couple hundred miles north of here. There is no more worry about whether we can send the kids to a good college, and my wife no longer has to feel guilty every time she spends money for some new clothes. Next summer, the whole family is flying to Europe to spend a month's holiday. We are really leaving. How did this all happen? I asked. It all happened, he continued. When to use the phrase you used tonight, I harnessed the power of belief. 5 years ago, I learned about a job with a tool and die company here in Detroit. We were living in Cleveland at that time. I decided to look into it. Hoping I could make a little more money, I got here early on Sunday evening, but the interview was not until Monday. After dinner, I sat down in my hotel room and for some reason, I got really disgusted with myself. Why? I asked myself. Am I just a middle class failure? Why am I trying to get a job that represents such a small step forward? I don't know to this day what prompted me to do it. But I took a sheet of hotel stationery and wrote down the names of 5 people I have known well for several years who had far surpassed me in the earning power and job responsibility. Two were former neighbors who had moved away to find subdivisions. Two others were fellows I had worked for, and the third was a brother in law. Next, again, I don't know what made me to do this. I asked myself, what do my 5 friends have that I don't have, besides better jobs? I compared myself with them on intelligence, but I honestly could not see that they excelled in the brains department, nor could I truthfully say that they had me beat on education, integrity, or personal habits. Finally, I got down to another success quality one hears a lot about initiative. Here I hated to admit it, but I had to. On this point, my record showed I was far below that of my successful friends.